All right, guys, so a lot of people have been asking me about a few of these things recently. I don't actually care to talk about it that much. Let's talk about the Cracker Barrel thing. This isn't a based take. This should be like the only take, and it's kind of sad that it needs to be said. And then I need to talk about trench grenade or whatever. You might not even know what I'm talking about with this guy, but it needs to be said for his good and everybody else's as well. For the average civilian who recently, thank the Lord, has been opening their eyes, at least to some degree, to the vet bro community. So to get started with the Cracker Barrel deal, I don't really need to tell you what happened. You know what happened. They put the logo back. It doesn't matter. Everybody said that they were done with Cracker Barrel back when they pulled all of the Duck Dynasty stuff off of the shelves. They wanted to pull away from firearms, conservatives, religion, Christianity specifically. There's been a couple of times that Cracker Barrel has done this. So when they did this whole remodel and revamp, this wasn't just some new, they've gone woke thing. This was a trend. This is a pattern of events. The fact that they put the logo back doesn't mean that anything changed. It just means that being a freaking piece of crap was going to cost them money. But what this really speaks to is how your attention span is so short that you can swear off a major brand for the rest of your life, forget that you ever did it, and go back and eat there anyways a couple years later. Like, if you mean it, mean it. If you care, care. But don't be surprised when one of these mega companies ends up using your hard-earned money to support causes that are directly contrary to your well-being. Because to get to a point like Cracker Barrel, to get a business to grow to that point with investors and with everything else, you've got to break a couple eggs, right? You've got to completely change from what the business originally was, and chances are it's no good. All right. So that whole situation, it's just crazy to me. People are like, yeah, they changed the logo back. They're going. Why does it matter? Do you think that their actual leadership changed? Do you think that their actual goals changed? It's so stupid. Trench grenade. All right, completely different, but we're just going to get all of this out in the same video. If you don't know, trench grenade is a, at this point, infamous firearms YouTuber. He's in the Army, and he is a drill sergeant. So he's been going back and forth. He's had a lot of cringe takes, but let me just say, I like the guy. Well, let me tell you why. Because he's not a Fed. So over the years, I liked following him. He made some really good posts. He made some really good points. He challenged the civilian LARPer community and gave some education. He's from the 173rd, so I automatically want to, like the guy. And he's doing some good stuff. I think he got in a little bit after I did, and so he's building this the foundation of his online persona is his current role as a drill sergeant. Okay. And so he's had a couple of cringe takes. He really likes the M9, which is just gay as AIDS, but I can forgive him for that. But he's done this Glock testing recently. He didn't put the front sight post on right, and it was like this fail moment for him. He got a little bit too clickbaity. And then he got into all this drama with all of these other YouTubers, and then started saying things that probably, if not directly a lie, were very misleading about his his shooting pistol pew pew competitive shooting background. All right, so here's the issue. There's a lot to say about this. First off, when you advertise the TRADOC thing, so if you are within the Army's school system, if you're one of their instructors at a school or whatever, that's the TRADOC system. For people actually serving when you're proud of that, that's extremely cringe. So like if you're in a line unit and you get the company gets some new platoon sergeant, okay, who comes from TRADOC, some E6 or 7 or whatever, it's generally the kind of guy who, you know, you're doing PT with your team or your squad in the morning and he comes and screams at you because you're wearing the wool glove inserts in your PT uniform and they're not technically allowed to be worn during PT, but your whole platoon's doing it, your own platoon sergeant's doing it, he has nothing to do with your chain of command, and yet he sees it, and by Jorge, he's gonna come and he's gonna stick AR 670-1 down your throat. Gayness. It's so he's building this reputation off of what people perceive from being a drill sergeant, and I think most of the people who are actually military are like, oh, please stop. Now, there's nothing wrong with being a drill sergeant. It's a mandatory job, or at least it was when I was in, and generally people hate the job, and it had the highest suicide rate in the Army. Your job is to go yell at kids. You stay up late, stupid kids. You stay up late, you get up early, you yell at the dumbest kids you can imagine that are also sleep deprived and away from their parents for the first time. So the public idea of what a drill sergeant is this absolute hard ass, and like he's training up these soldiers because he's truly passionate about it, and like if he goes to war, he's going to become a platoon sergeant, he's going to lead from the front and be a hard charging freaking badass dude. Whereas the reality is a lot of them usually are kind of broke dicks, and the job sucks and kind of a rough deal. But what's going on here is as Trench builds his reputation off of his current job and duty position, and posting pictures of him yelling at children, okay, he's advertising himself based on the public civilian understanding of what a drill sergeant is. But by getting involved in drama, potentially lying, and doing everything else, he's simultaneously taking away from that. So anytime you put on your uniform, and this is for Trench and for anybody else, anytime you put on your uniform, you represent the whole military. I like Trench because he was the one in the 173rd, and I didn't get to the most important part yet, but then you get into some of the clickbait stuff and start screwing around, and you make the 173rd look bad. You, instead of looking like the drill sergeant that you want to look like, you look like one of the kids. And you're doing damage to the very persona that you're trying to represent. I'm shocked that things are kind of going this way. I have absolutely no doubt that when I was in, a person would get in a lot of trouble for this stuff, and maybe Trench will at some point or will not. Trench, like, I would be the drill sergeant that people expect you to be, above reproach, above any amount of any degree of being misleading, and probably back away from building your persona based on your current military status. I feel like guy to guy, it's a bad idea for you personally. Now, for the average person who's never been in the military, I do think you should know that this vet bro crap is very cringe. There is honor in service, but not everybody who serves is honorable. Not everybody who serves is doing a service. Some gave all gave some. No, bull crap. It's a bold-faced lie. It's a psyop. It's propaganda. It's crap. All right. So for the non-Trench people, you need to understand that. Maybe I'll go into that more later. But I still like Trench despite any cringe, because he's not one of these fed dirtbags. So you should expect anybody who's not a fed with an editing team, who hasn't, like a freaking lone survivor guy who hasn't gone to public speaking classes and public persona classes, who doesn't have a team of writers and lawyers and cameramen. You should expect them to be cringe, because people are cringe. I am cringe. You, I guarantee, are cringe. And it's authentic. And so he can sit here and he can wax poetic about how he likes the Beretta M9. It's cringe, but that's okay. He's probably better than some of the folks that he's fussing with. Nate at Valhalla, has made good points and is doing good stuff, but I don't know, he's kind of sus too. Kind of sus. When you are a special boy and you make a lot of progress very quickly in the public eye, and you're not getting dinged for some of the stuff that the rest of us are getting dinged for, it doesn't mean that you're a fed directly tied, whether you know it or not, to some dirtbag people. It should, for the viewer, be suspect. Likely, of course, most of this is just drama, clickbait. That's what people love. Everybody goes in the comments to be like, "You're so gay for all of your drama. I hate you. You should grow up and stop with all of the drama." And then they watch every single drama video and comment the same thing. Watch the whole video. So, Cracker Barrel. Guys, shop, like, when you go to a mom and pop's restaurant, screw all of the big companies. There's a reason when Budweiser was doing all of their tranny crap that the CEO was CIA. There's a reason for that. There's a reason that when you start connecting the dots in the entertainment industry, it gets dirty really quick. And now with like Glover, who was like beating his wife and abusing children and stuff, people are like, "Oh, well, the cops were corrupt and blah blah." So the dude turns people into the FBI, and the next week he's on the FBI's most wanted list, and yet he's a public figure who's posting a training schedule, has no idea what he's talking about half the time, much like Tim Kennedy, who didn't know how to put on a freaking tourniquet. You didn't know how to put on a tourniquet, and people are buying your BS backstory. Doesn't know a doggone thing about what they're talking about, runs trash training. They're given a platform. It's a doggone post turtle. You're walking along, a fence post on a country road. You see a turtle up on a fence post in midair. You don't know exactly how he got there, but you do know he didn't get there himself. Okay, and now everybody's like, well, he actually wasn't. Shut up, right? The average civilian wants to be patriotic and wants to believe that all of this is on the up and up, but so they're never going to see it themselves. But anyways, I don't think Trench is one of these guys. I don't think he'd be one of these guys like as a drill sergeant, and I think he's too cringe to be one of these guys anyways. And I'm going to tell you right now, when it comes to when he used to do posts about tactics and stuff like that, he was posting some good stuff. And there's great value in that, and I have a great appreciation for actual honest public figures in the social media sphere who keep up with it, because it's a ton of work. And I'm absolutely certain that if I was a drill sergeant, I would not want to be running a YouTube channel. I would probably want to get away from the kids and do my best. Like I'd put on the drill sergeant face and do the whole deal, right? But when I wasn't putting on the face, I'd probably want to get as far away from that as I can and stay away from the public sphere and enjoy my time to myself. So kudos to him. I think he has good intentions. And, you know, what was the other take in the comment section below? There was another gun test he did where something stupid popped up, like the castle nut came loose or something like that on an AR, on a PSA, or on a burn down or something like that. And he's like, oh, failed the burn down at this many rounds because the front sight post that I installed came loose. Clickbait something, but you don't get to clickbait when your persona's based on a drill sergeant. You don't. And just know, like, when you stop being a drill sergeant and hopefully go back to a line unit, you know, don't go bragging to everybody that you were a drill sergeant, because everybody's gonna be like, wonderful, this guy's coming from TRADOC. Like, get in there, the NCOs will know, right? And then be cool, and be a good leader, and don't treat your Joes like they're the same children that were in freaking basic training, and don't be that TRADOC guy. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I hope you have a blessed day.